Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client that had quite intense levels of anxiety with things like traveling or driving in unfamiliar roads or doing things that felt beyond the level of comfort. For a lot of people, they're fairly balanced with evaluating whether or not they're capable of doing something or not. In this particular client's case, the default way of thinking was that they can't do it. And the evaluation that they can't do it created a feeling of tension and anxiety. And there was almost a feeling of permanence, of it will always be this way. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is a way of dispelling the myth that anxiety is permanent and it can never be overcome by a memory that she had when she was young of performing in a choir even though she was anxious. And there were several memories that she had almost forgotten about that proved that she could feel anxious about something, do it anyway, and then whether it's that courage or optimism or bravery, then make different evaluations after doing the thing, which then meant future anxiety related to that was either non-existent or very low. And that tends to be how you break out of the self-fulfilling prophecy of anxiety. A lot of people with intense anxiety avoid doing the thing, and by avoiding it, they remove any possibility of evidence that they can do the thing, and therefore it self-perpetuates. And therefore, courage is one of the most useful tools to break the cycle of anxiety, because by doing the thing that you think you can't do, it then gives you evidence that you can. And then in doing so, the next evaluation is the evaluation of, well, I think I can do that. And then you feel more relaxed. And then it continues in a cycle. And this is really what this session is all about, harnessing a memory of courage to develop a belief system that they are more courageous, more brave, and better able to deal with anxiety than they ever think they are. If you're struggling with anxiety or a lack of confidence, there will be a link in the show notes that you can schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me. But you might find that this session is actually helpful enough. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, feel a wave of relaxation start from the top of your head all the way down your body to the tips of your toes. Breathing in a feeling of resourcefulness. Exhaling tension. Really feeling any worries or stress or anxiety start to melt away. And as you feel it melt away, just imagine it evaporates inside you and feels like you're able to exhale that tension, any worries, any anxiety. Breathing in the resourcefulness, exhaling anything holding you back. I want you to think about all of your thoughts. Thoughts naturally follow beliefs, and emotions quite often follow the thoughts. And I wonder what you would have to believe in order to have many thoughts about what you can't do. I want you to dispel the belief that you are anxious and replace it with the idea that you are a human like every other human that just experiences anxiety. We all do. But what if we were to go back, all the way back, and shatter the belief that you're an anxious person by giving you irrefutable evidence that you are courageous, you are brave, you are able to do the very things that you think you can't do. So breathe in a feeling of bravery and exhale any worries. Breathe in a feeling of courage and breathe out any feelings of hesitation. Feel yourself becoming more and more brave, more and more courage. Feeling courageous is not the absence of fear. Having courage and bravery is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And in doing so, fear and anxiety become ever more elusive. So as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine going all the way back and observing you as a child. Maybe a child that was able to sing, maybe loved to sing. But I want you to see that child version of you about to try out for a choir. Imagine what you would have been wearing at the time. Imagine that house that you were living in then. And I want you to see a strange cocktail of emotions. Maybe excitement, positive anticipation caused by the evaluations of, I get to do this. I wonder what will happen. But also anxiety. Any evaluations of what might go wrong, any evaluations of physiological signs of anxiety feed on themselves, creating an idea that maybe I can't. But I want you to imagine you're this invisible entity looking backwards, seeing that 10 or 11-year-old version of you. And I want you to see that version of you traveling towards an audition, a trial. And you can see those facial expressions and you can see that rate of breathing. And you know, knowing what you now know, there was fear, anxiety, worries. But I want you to observe as that younger version of you was still willing to do the same audition, the same trial, even though they were anxious. And I want you to have a wonderful feeling of pride, that you can be proud of that younger version of you, willing to do the thing even though there was anxiety. And I want you to see perhaps the very moment that the audition was about to start. And I want you to see that younger version of you perhaps walking up to a microphone or a stage, maybe in front of an audience, maybe it was small, maybe large, and feel an overwhelming sense of pride and accomplishment and this younger version of you doing the very thing even though they felt anxious. And I want you to see their performance. And very quickly, the very fact that they took action in the face of fear and anxiety meant that lots of that anxiety just disappeared. And maybe it was a few seconds or even a few minutes in, they started to relax. Maybe they even enjoyed their performance. And I want you to see the face after the audition, the trial finished. Because there is a wonderful emotion that comes from facing a fear. Partly relief, but mainly a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. And quite often that comes from internal evaluations along the lines of, I did it. And just doing something shouldn't cause so much positive emotions, but they only come if there's a feeling that it's a difficult thing to do. Overcoming adversity, overcoming challenges, and fear and anxiety sometimes are the biggest challenges. But if you can see that younger version of you with a sense of pride and accomplishment at feeling the fear and doing it anyway, overcoming that anxiety, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to rewind to the very point where that younger version of you was anxious, but just on the verge of stepping towards that audition. Courage had to be there, and I want you to step into that younger version of you so you can feel where that courage is. Maybe the chest or the heart, maybe the head. And I want you to place a hand on where you feel that courage is within you. We're going to expand it, grow it. Because if courage was in you back then, it's always been in you. Always has been, always will. But that courage is a muscle. And back then your intuition was to make that muscle stronger by doing the thing that you were worried about doing. And maybe for a while that muscle's been getting weaker. But you can make a weak muscle stronger just by practicing, just by using it more. If you went to the gym and exercised on heavy weights on your legs would get stronger. And likewise, the muscle of courage can get stronger simply by doing things you don't think you have the ability to do, by expanding your comfort zone until your courage and bravery is so strong that nothing makes you anxious. I'm going to give you a series of suggestions designed to awaken your courage, strengthen your bravery. Feel that courage expanding as you hear these words, allowing useful suggestions to take root, but also allowing anything irrelevant or unnecessary to just wash away in your mind. You believe in yourself completely, knowing that you have the inner strength to face any challenge. As you relax, you notice how fear and anxiety dissolve, leaving you feeling calm and in control. With your hand on that courageous confidence, accept the idea that you radiate confidence and courage. Knowing but believing that you can handle whatever comes your way. There are challenges in life, and imagine how good it would feel to eagerly embrace challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. This memory of this moment of courage is just one of many jewels of memories in your mind and life's experience. And as you accept that your mind is a treasure trove of resources, accept that you can effortlessly tap into them when facing difficulties. This wasn't the first time you were courageous and wasn't the last. All of these memories are gems and jewels in the treasure trove of your resources. You can remain calm and composed under pressure, making clear and confident decisions. Understanding that every experience is a chance to win or learn, and you embrace both outcomes equally. Things don't have to go perfectly for you to feel like you're making progress. You are fearless in the face of fear, and you welcome the chance to expand your comfort zone. Being fearless is the absence of anxiety, and courage is feeling the anxiety and choosing to do it anyway. But as your confidence and courage grows, anything within your comfort zone becomes natural to be fearless. You're not afraid when you walk or tie your shoelaces because you feel confident and comfortable doing them. And there are things that cause anxiety now that a year from now will be so far within your comfort zone, you will think nothing of doing them. You are resilient. You bounce back from setbacks stronger and more determined than ever. And you have the mindset of a champion, constantly pushing your boundaries and achieving new heights. Maybe you can think of a sport or a sports person that you admire. They are constantly aiming to expand their comfort zones, becoming better, more capable, more able. And you will be a champion of courage, exercising that muscle, that mindset, by finding things that cause anxiety and being resolute in your desire to do them anyway. You vividly visualize yourself succeeding in these challenging endeavors, reinforcing your belief in your capabilities. With each challenge you conquer, your confidence grows stronger and more unshakable. There is a fine line between fearless and reckless. Fear can keep you safe, but fear can also be an opportunity to grow and expand. And you can view fear as a guide, leading you toward valuable lessons and personal growth. Sometimes you'll venture just outside your comfort zone, and every now and then there'll be opportunities to go way outside your comfort zone. And in doing so, your comfort zone expands effortlessly, allowing you to take on new and exciting opportunities. You can feel that courage, but there's also a feeling of trust within you. At that age of 10 years old, you trusted in your ability to ignore the anxiety and do it anyway. So now you can trust in your abilities to handle difficult situations. And it's okay if it's daunting. It's okay if it's challenging. You believe in your ability to do what needs to be done. Fear no longer holds you back. It can propel you forward, tempting you to Do the things you think you can't do to expand the quality of your life, emotions, and self-belief. And you will practice making positive evaluations, whether you're in or beyond your comfort zone. And the most beneficial positive evaluation you can make is that you have the courage to face your fears. And in doing so, you create a powerful self-fulfilling prophecy where you gather more and more evidence that that is true. Because every time you expand your comfort zone, you also prevent it from shrinking. You are committed to constant improvement, using every experience to become better, more confident, more courageous. There is no limit to your potential. Fear is the biggest limit in most people's lives. So as your courage and bravery grows, you can tap into your unlimited potential, and you are ready to embrace it fully. And it just starts with doing one thing you think you couldn't do. So I want you to make a picture of you in the future doing one thing you think you couldn't do. But I want you to see you not anxious or worried. I want to see you with courage, bravery, and determination. See that expression on your face. See your hand holding your chest where courage is, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. See that confident, courageous version of you doing the very thing you thought you couldn't do. Just like you saw yourself at a choir doing an audition, I want you to see a future version of you doing something else you think you couldn't do, and see the same facial expression of pride, accomplishment, and satisfaction. And realize that the more you do it, the easier it gets, because courage gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And if you can feel already that courage and confidence expanding, let me know by nodding your head. Because it doesn't matter if you believe you can do it to get you to do it, or trusting that you will become better by doing things you don't think you can do. Because either way, your courage expands, your comfort zone expands, and feelings of confidence, self-esteem, and pride are amplified in your life. I want you to imagine leaving that younger version of you. And imagine you can pause time for everyone but you at the age you are now and that 10 or 11-year-old version of you. I want you to hug that little girl and tell that little girl that she is your inspiration. You admire her courage. You are proud of her. And in doing so, feel even more of that courage expanding within you. Because you can't have courage at that age and not have it now. What if it's a powerful, strong muscle that is just dormant, ready to be reactivated, and you're excited to put it to use? Give her a hug, say goodbye, reactivate time, let her carry on her existence as you now feel like you're floating back to yours, but keeping that courage, bravery, and self-belief with you. Looking forward to putting it to use with real experiences, choosing to do things that are currently beyond your comfort zone. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose as you return to the present. Then wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, feel like you're fully in the present, in this moment, right now, listening to my voice As I'll now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken feeling courageous, brave, excited to face some of these things that you could always do but just have been believing that you can't. You will banish some demons, reactivate self-belief and confidence, and become just as courageous as that little girl you were in the past. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.
Hi, it's Adam here.